You know a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows. And a dream is just a vessel that must follow where it goes. Trying to learn from what's behind and never knowing what's in store makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shore. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the water slip away, till what we put off to tomorrow has finally come today. So don't stand upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance the tide. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. And there's bound to be rough waters, and I know I'll take some falls. But with the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through them all. I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, till the river runs dry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maxwell Ivy, Max to my friends. I'm also known around the world as the Blind Blogger, and some of you have heard of me as Mr. Midway. And I want to welcome you to what I'm calling Music and Motivation. And I know it's an unusual format, but I'm hoping you're going to like it. And basically, it just fits with me and my personality and my ever growing goal, which is to find solutions instead of making excuses. And I guess first I should tell you about why I sing. And it's very simple. A few years ago, I needed an intro for a podcast. I didn't have a way to create a fancy intro. I didn't know anybody who could or would do one for me. And I decided at the last minute to just sing on the intro. People liked my singing. They said, Max, you have a good voice and you need to keep doing it more. And so I continued doing that at the beginning of my podcast. And I noticed that my YouTube stats tend to show that people listen to me sing more than they listen to me talk. So I decided when I would start preparing or practicing for a public talk that I would do it with some music and see what people think about that. And this is one of my favorite songs. And I think the river just says it all. We don't start off being the person we're going to be. A river starts off usually in a small lake, a pond, streams, bigger and bigger rivers and lakes until eventually it becomes a mighty river like the Mississippi. And me in my life, I didn't start out being the Blind Blogger or Mr. Midway. I started out being the son of carnival owners, and the only thing I ever really wanted to do was help my family run the business. Thankfully, I was blessed to get to do that alongside my dad for about 10 years. And did my best every day to grow the business and try to build it up into something. But when he died from lung cancer, me and my brothers were not ready to keep the carnival going, and then a few years later, the carnival was out of business. I was lucky enough to realize that the business probably didn't have long left, and so I started thinking about what is it that you can do that you already know how to do, where you can probably make a living. And at that time, I had been helping the family sell our own amusement equipment. For a lot of people that run a small business, the only way you can purchase new stuff or newer stuff is to sell the old stuff. So I had been helping with that. I thought, I've done it for my family, I could do it professionally. And when the business finally closed, I was able to help my mom sell the remaining rides that we had at that time. I thought maybe I could turn this into a profession. I didn't know anything about the internet or having a website, but I knew I needed to get online. So after a very depressing, disgusting, totally failure weekend at the Groves Pecan Festival in September of 2007, I filed for the domain name, the Midway Marketplace, midwaymarketplace.com. And I started figuring out what I'd have to do to actually make this thing a business. And I started by asking for help. I asked my brother, who's a tech guy, if he knew anything about building a website. He didn't, but he went out and found out how. He managed the website and created one where all I had to do was upload the photos and write the descriptions, and the site pretty much ran itself. But then he got a high-paying job. He could no longer help me with the website, and I knew that I wanted the website to be more than it was. I wanted to grow it, make it more interactive, put more photos on it, have a featured items section, have a link section. So I started asking questions again, and I eventually was led to the w3c.org school, and I taught myself HTML coding one example at a time. And over the years, I probably hand-coded 1 million or 2 million lines of code, one line at a time, to build, maintain, and keep my site running. It was one of those things. I had to do it. There wasn't anybody else who could or would. And at that point, even if I'd had the money to hire somebody, I wouldn't have felt comfortable letting somebody loose with my baby. So I continued. I was recruiting people to list their ads on the site. I was building email lists, working on social media. And trust me, the site was not great looking. It had a screaming yellow background. It had navy blue text, red brick links. I'm told that Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could have had an argument over this website, but I used the website. I was able to use it to sell equipment successfully because I didn't worry about what I didn't have. I didn't worry about the fact that the site wasn't perfect. I just did the best I could with what I had, which was constantly promoting the site, sending out emails, posting on social media pages and forums, and just pushing the website. And I was able to make some really good sales because I didn't worry about the fact that the site wasn't perfect. And I really wish more people would get over this idea that a great website means unbelievable sales, because it doesn't always. In many cases, it doesn't at all. It all comes down to creating connections, building relationships, building email lists, and continuing to manage your site so that it comes to the attention of the search engines. And then, of course, it all comes down to having something they want to buy and something you have somebody that wants to sell at the same time. But I continued promoting the site, and I came to the attention of some people online who started saying, Max, you're really inspirational to us by continuing to do what you do, and you really should share more about being a blind entrepreneur. My response was, hey, I'm not an inspiration. I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy who shows up every day and works his butt off to build a business and support his family. To which they replied, Max, there are way too many people in this world who don't have a physical disability, who don't do anything special with their lives. They sleepwalk through their days, and they're happy with their current situation, or they're at least comfortable with it. And they need people like you to share your story and give them encouragement and inspiration and motivation to break out of those routines and actually live the lives they were meant to live. I finally accepted, started the new website, theblindblogger.net, and been working on that now for almost 3 years. During the course of promoting that, I also started doing interviews. I did basically anything online to promote myself because I'm a blind guy living in Houston where there isn't much for mass transit. And I felt like the best thing I could do was to make a weakness into a strength, and that was to do anything online, including podcasts, radio shows, YouTube interviews, online summits, online magazines, guest blog posts, interviews on blogs. I even did a question and answer thing with the students at Kent University. And this is a case where I just basically decided to find opportunities to share my story and reach these other people and sell my products and services. Another thing that happened is I was encouraged to write my first book, Leading You Out of the Darkness into the Light, A Blind Man's Inspirational Guide to Success. I wrote the book on a dare from a good friend who said, Max, I want you to be part of a summit and you need a book. She said, I know you can write one and I know you can do it in the next 6 weeks. I told her I would start the book. A few weeks later, I found out that I wasn't going to be part of the summit, but I continued writing the book. When I got to finish the book, I was worried the book wasn't big enough, it wasn't good enough, there wasn't enough important information in it, and that people wouldn't like it, buy it, or that they wouldn't even think that I was the person who should be giving them advice. And finally, a friend told me, Max, if you don't send this book off to your editor and get it published, I'm going to do it for you. And that finally convinced me that the book was good enough. So I sent it to my good friend, Lorraine Reguly at wordingwell.com. And she edited it, formatted it, got it submitted online for me, and we started selling the book. It's got some great reviews. I've gotten a bunch of incredible, lovely emails over it. And it was a great experience for my first book. Last year, I wrote another one called It's Not the Cookie, It's the Bag, an easy-to-follow guide to weight loss success. Last year, I applied for and won one of the 2016 Amtrak Writers in Residency, and I took a solo trip to New York City. And I will tell you about that more in one of the other parts of this series. But I went to New York, returned, and I'm now working on my third book based on that adventure, based on the fact that I was able to face my fears and the fears of people around me and go out into the big, scary place that was New York City and come back not only safe and sound, but better. So as you can see, my life has changed a lot over the years. I forgot to mention the fact that I had gastric surgery 5 years ago. Changed my lifestyle as far as diet, exercise, and other things, and lost over 250 pounds, and I'm now the healthiest that I've ever been in my life. I'm in great physical condition. I've got a few minor things. I'm losing some hair. I've lost some teeth. I, don't have as much energy as I had years ago, but then who does? But I'm at a very good place in my life. And all these changes started with one little thing. They started with that day almost 10 years ago now where I got up and I said, this ain't working anymore. This is not going to be good enough for me from now on. I don't know how I'm going to do this thing called equipment brokering, but I'm going to start today. And I got somebody to help me file for the domain name. I got somebody to help me to build the website. I got somebody to help me improve the website. And I got somebody to help show me things along the way that have gotten me to the point where now people actually want me to talk. They want me to write more books. They want me to record more videos. And that's such a great thing to think that I've gone from being the morbidly obese son of carnival owners, working in a carnival that I no longer enjoyed being part of because it was my uncle's carnival, to a happy guy who's healthy, is working on several things that he has passion for. So I encourage you to follow the advice from that, at least the second verse of the river, and step away from the shoreline, step out into the water and see where it takes you. That's why I love this song. You never know where life is going to take you if you're willing to put your hand out, put your feet out, step into that water and see where the ride takes you.